Hello and welcome to a new reading vlog. This one's exciting because it's my birthday week. My birthday is in 3 days and I have so much planned for this vlog, you guys. Namely, a really exciting TBR because we have a couple of new releases, a couple of books that I've been saving to read around my birthday as a little treat because I'm literally insane and that's just how I do things. I have my very first gymnastics competition in a decade. I'm gonna go book shopping, obviously, because I need to buy the new releases. You know, so much planned for this video, and I cannot wait to jump in and share everything with you all. So let's go ahead and cover my very, very exciting TBR. I don't think I've been this excited to read books in a hot second. I've been in a little bit of a reading slump. When I do find time to sit down and read, I do enjoy the reading that I'm doing. It just takes so much to actually find time to sit down, and I always feel guilty that I'm not working. It's a whole thing. We're working on it. Okay, recovering workaholic. Just kidding. I am solidly still a workaholic, but bunch of books that I want to get to, 3 mangas, 2 novels, very ambitious. It's going to be a busy week. I'm very, very excited because I have that birthday energy, you know, the Pisces energy flowing through me. We're good. We're going. So the first 2 books on my TBR will be volumes 13 and 14 of Frieren, which if you don't know is my favorite manga of all time. We adore it. And yeah, strangely enough, I'm behind by 2 volumes and we need to fix that because I don't like not being caught up. But I do always love saving Frieren for around my birthday as just like a little birthday treat for myself. The plan was honestly to save volume 14 because it came out in February, but I realized I'd never read 13 either. It's been a weird year, and then last year was also weird. It's been crazy. So these are the first 2 manga that I want to pick up, and then the other manga is a manga that I mispronounce every single time, so if I do that again, please forgive me. I've literally tried practicing saying it, and I still suck at it. It is Gachiakuta, Volume 1. I started watching the anime, and I am obsessed with the art style. I picked up volume 1 while I was in Japan. Obviously it's in Japanese, so I can't read it. And then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, yeah, no, I need to read the manga. Like, I love it so much. In Gachiakuta, hopefully that's right. Again, please don't yell at me. I'm trying. There's this kid that lives in the outskirts of a city, so there's kind of like the like bougie rich part and then like the poor part of town, and he basically gets accused of murder and then thrown into this trash pit. And this trash pit is basically a version of hell, and people who get thrown down there, they're basically supposed to be dead. But he survives the fall and learns that there's an entire like underground down at the bottom, and our main character is trying to get back topside. The cool element of this is that if you care enough about an item, that item gains like a spirit or like a soul and gains like power in order to like fight. So very, very cool. The art style is amazing. Like, I am so obsessed with this like thicker line art and like uneven line weights. Just I love it so much. I'm not an artist who draws characters, like I draw maps, but seeing this like makes me want to draw in this style. So those are the 3 volumes of manga I want to get to, and in case you don't know what Frieren is about, I'll briefly mention that. We have an elf who lives a very, very long time, and it's about her journey after defeating the Demon King and saving the world, and her party of heroes that she saved the world with slowly are dying because they're human, and she learns kind of about life and trying to grow closer to her new companions and appreciate the little moments. So yeah, that's your really, really quick rundown of Frieren. I will not be going like in too much depth about the newer volumes. Probably I'll just be like, oh my god, guys, I love them, because we're 13 and 14 volumes in and I'm not trying to spoil anything for anyone. The next 2 books are books that I'm also going to be picking up today. Yes, we're doing a little pre-birthday book shopping, because how could I not? And one of them is And Now Back to You by B.K. Borison. I read First Time Caller at the recommendation of Sydney, and we had gone book shopping together. She recommended First Time Caller, picked it up. I loved it, you guys. I haven't felt that way And I think that was like the first half of the book. I was like, absolutely, like, this is everything. And then the second half was a little weaker, but I still loved the romance. So I'm really, really excited to see how this novel is. B.K. Borison for me has been very much so hit or miss. I loved First Time Caller. I love Love Light Farms. But then In the Weeds, I think it was called, the second book in like the Love Light Farms series. Ooh, major miss on that one. But hopefully, And Now Back to You is as fun as First Time Caller. So First Time Caller followed this like radio host station dating line situation. And Now Back to You, I believe, follows a weather person. I don't remember the plot details, but I think it's related to the weather or the news or something like that. I'll obviously, go more into detail when I have the book in my hand before I can double check all of that. And then the last book that I'm going to be picking up is one that I didn't even know was coming out, but I'm so excited about. It's called Operation Bounce House. It's by Matt Dinniman, who's the author of Dungeon Crawler Carl, which if you know anything about Carl and me, you know that I love me some Dungeon Crawler Carl. No, I have not caught up with the series, you guys. I know last year I was like, yeah, I'm going to be zooming through this like no tomorrow. I hit a wall. Okay, I'm stuck like a quarter of the way into book 7, I think. Maybe book 6. I don't remember. I am planning on finishing those at some point. I have the audiobooks. It'll happen. But Operation Bounce House is set in space. It's very similar, I believe, to Dungeon Crawler Carl. I don't know if this is also like a lit RPG. I'll circle back with you when I get those details. Once again, when I have the book like in my hands. I'm just really curious to see if Matt Dinniman's writing holds up with a new cast of characters and if he can make me like them as much as Carl, Donut, and Samantha. We'll see. And I'm just so excited to get my grubby little hands on these books. So, of course, the very first thing that we are going to do is go book shopping because obviously I can't read any of these books until I have my hands on them. So let's go ahead and pop over to Barnes & Nobles and acquire these books. Back from Barnes & Noble. I will share my book haul shortly, but first I have a visitor. Katie Hall.
Katie Hall. Hi guys. Oh my god. We used to do this all the time. Now we literally never say hi to each other's vlogs. How do you feel about that?
Sad, honestly. I feel pretty sad. Kind of bummed. We need to do it more often again.
Yeah, we'll bring it back.
The comeback. More of each other in each other's vlogs, yeah? Yeah. We love Katie around here. Yeah, we've just been chatting for a little bit, and then I was like, I need to vlog before the sun goes down, so that's what I'm here to do. My little book haul. Yeah, little in quantity, a lot in price. I love that I'm doing this book haul as if you guys don't already know exactly what books that I picked up. you know, as if I didn't intro all the books I was going to buy in the beginning of the vlog. Crazy work, I know. So we have Matt Dinniman's Operation Bounce House. I guess I can actually like figure out what this one was about. Takes place on space. It says, what happens when you become your planet's final boss? Okay, looks like a planet gets taken over. They were promised they'd be left in peace, but now they have other plans, an eviction action. But you know, capitalism, and they decide to... It says, why not charge bored Earthers for the opportunity to design their own war machines and remotely pilot them from the comfort of their homes? The game is called Operation Bounce House. Oliver and his friends soon find themselves fighting for their lives against machines piloted by gamers who've paid a premium for the privilege. With the help from an old book from his grandfather and a bucket of rusty parts, Oliver is determined to defend the only home he's ever known. So it's kind of giving me the same vibes as Dungeon Crawler Carl. Also, I never like properly looked at this cover. This is actually kind of a crazy cover. That's cracking me up. Anyway, so we have that one, and then we have Gachiakuta, which does have an amazing, amazing cover. I love it so much. It says, welcome to the pit. Rudo lives in the slums of a floating town where the poor scrape by under the shadow of the rich. Then one day he's falsely accused of murder, and his wrongful conviction leads to an unimaginable punishment, exile off the edge with the rest of the trash. Down on the surface, the cast-off waste of humanity has bred vicious monsters, and if Rudo wants to have any hope of discovering the truth and seeking vengeance, he will have to master a new power and join a group known as the Cleaners, who battle the hulking trash beasts of the pit. Which is kind of what I mentioned in the intro with, you know, him being tossed off the side of the ledge and accused of murder. I'm also really keen to find out who actually, like, did the murder that Rudo is accused of, and why it was done, to who it was done. Very, very intriguing. And then we have And Now Back to You by B.K. Borison. This was on like the buy one, get one 50% off shelf. And guys, the selection of books on that shelf, I could not find any good ones whatsoever. I was actually kind of bummed because I was like, yes, let's save some money. And then I read the blurb of every single book, pretty much every single book that looked interesting to me on that table. You know, I checked reviews and I was like, you know what? Maybe we'll pass. And then in this one, we're following Jackson and Delilah, who are both journalists, and they're partnered against their will to cover a historic snowstorm, and they apparently get snowed in at one point. I know that because the bookseller who was working was so excited when she saw that I had that book. She was hyping it up so much. She was so sweet, honestly. And then she was also the one who ended up checking me out at the cash register, and she gave me some more recommendations, all of them horror, even though I was like, oh no, like I'm not really a horror girly. She's like, no, like these aren't really like horror, they're like kind of, but like not. I'm like, guys, I'm afraid of my own shadow. But like, thank you. That's very sweet of you to think that I would like horror. Trust, I don't. Anyways, I have gymnastics tonight in a few hours, so I will probably get some work done and then do some reading afterwards and come at you with an update then. I'm not sure which book I want to start with. I'm leaning towards Gachiakuta because I kind of know what goes down in this one, and it's a manga, quick read, and I'm just really, really excited, and I kind of want all of these volumes. They looked so sick next to each other in Barnes & Noble because like their spine also has like the character's face on it, and the font is so nice. I'm so obsessed with like everything about this. So I probably will read that tonight, and then I'll give you an update and some of my thoughts. Maybe I'll poke at one of the other books as well. We're just gonna play it by ear, do what I feel like in between, you know, working. So yeah, I'll come back with you after gymnastics.
How will you rest in the middle of a routine? Yeah, like in the middle, sure.
Rotate more, right? I can do like the. Yes, chill. I want to do the one. It's my problem on everything. Literally, it's always my butt. Ricky was like, just squeeze your butt on the flyway. And you're like, squeeze your butt in the layout. And I'm like, try it. To the ceiling, ladies. Guys, I may have gymnasticked a little too close to the sun yesterday because everything hurts. My body is aching so badly, and I've been trying to take it easy this morning, rest up, conserve my energy, regain my energy. However, I have been doing a lot of last-minute shop prep because, my shop launch is right around the corner, and there is so much last-minute stuff that I need to do that I don't like doing. Pretty much everything that I don't like doing, I've kept until the last minute, which is stressing me out. So probably should take note and in the future not do that. It's basically listing photos and putting listings on the internet. I hate that part. If I could pay someone to take my product photos, I would. Guys, I hate taking product photos so much. They never turn out good. They never do my art justice. And I just have to hope that people see my art on any form of social media and be like, oh, that looks cool. And then just trust that it looks really cool in person. Because my product listings do not show that. So I've been working on all of that. But I've also taken a little bit of time to work on a new map. This is an F1 race map, specifically for 2026. It has been really fun to just draw a map. For me, this is actually a gift for my dad that I was going to try to finish before the start of the season. And, the start of the season is also, on my birthday, which is also my shop launch, and then the next day is my gymnastics competition. So I don't think that finishing this is really on the cards before the race season begins, but it's fine. I'll eventually get it to him, maybe by the second race, maybe by the third, maybe by April. I don't know, but I just wanted to show that off. I don't know if I'm going to add this to my shop. Let me know if any of you guys are interested in having a copy of the 2026 race map, and then maybe I'll think about adding it to my shop. I don't know. But it's also something that I feel is time sensitive. If I want to add it to my shop, I need to do it pronto before it gets too far into the F1 race season. Sorry, Formula One aside, I actually have some reading updates. Started 2, finished 1. So let's go ahead and talk about the one that I did finish, which is Gachiakuta, Volume 1. Now, I loved this so much. Unsurprisingly, again, the art style, the story, all of it is so captivating, straight off the bat. And because I've seen, I think I'm 10 episodes into the anime, but I haven't touched it in months because my New Year's resolution was to watch more anime. And then like the beginning of January, I watched probably the most amount of anime I've watched in my entire life. Like every day I was watching like dozens of episodes. And then I hit a wall and then I got really busy and then I haven't like returned to watching a single episode of anime since then. So it's been a hot minute. So it was really nice to be able to like revisit the beginning of the story and remember what got me like hooked instantly. And this really is a book that can get you hooked instantly. Everything that is covered in this book has such a good, it's just such a solid first volume, you guys. It's like immediately gripping. You have this really cool art design. You meet this character, we're establishing the world, and then he gets thrown off the side of the sphere, which also, I think I mentioned that when I like hauled it, but the sphere, I forgot actually moves. So when he gets thrown off, it's not as simple as just like, okay, and now I'm gonna go straight back up to where I was thrown off. No, the sphere actually like moves around, which kind of complicates the matter of Rudo getting back to his home, which is a detail that I missed, which is also a cool thing to be able to return to the first volume and catch those details that I either forgot about or might have missed while watching the anime. So he's thrown off the sphere into the trash heap, recruited by a group who kills the trash monsters, and then we are left on a little bit of a cliffhanger after meeting a couple of the characters of that group called the Cleaners, who are the ones who protect and defeat the trash monsters. So a lot of things are covered straight away in this first volume. So it really is a good indicator, I would say, of if you enjoy volume 1, it's definitely an indicator for you to continue the series. And if you don't, I wouldn't continue it because I would assume that a lot of the future volumes, because again, seeing the anime and comparing it to follow the same sort of pattern of a lot of fight scenes, but then a lot of really cool moments with like the art. Actually, there's a panel that I wanted to show you guys. It is pretty early on in the book. And it is just, I don't know, it really stood out to me. I just love how he like bleeds into the next panel, like the composition, the angle, the art style, you guys. Like I'm so obsessed with Gachiakuta, and I will be collecting this manga, which I only sigh like that because I have a love-hate relationship with collecting manga because I love having them on my shelf. I love being able to like reach for them and read them whenever I want. And the unfortunate thing is it's just like, this only took me like an hour to read, I would say. So spending the money for a manga is always just like a little painful because I'm like, wow, like it's just so expensive to collect. And then as for novels that I've started, we have And Now Back to You. I am on page 57, which is chapter 5. When I was reading this last night, I actually only read a chapter and then I read like a few more chapters this morning for I could give you like an update more than one chapter. And not that 5 chapters is that much further, but I was so confused. So it started with Jackson's POV and I just missed reading his name. So for the first half of his chapter, I thought it was Delilah's POV and I was so confused. I'm like, none of this is making sense. And granted, I would have caught it probably straight away had I been more awake and not delirious and tired, but alas, I was delirious and tired and so confused. But like I briefly mentioned, I now have it all sorted. I think I called them journalists and then maybe I called them weathermen. I don't even know, you guys. All right, we have the situation. So Jackson is I was gonna say weather boy. Wouldn't you like to know weather boy? He is the weatherman, weather reporter on the radio where, oh my gosh, I want to say it's called Heartstopper, but like I'm fairly certain it's not called Heartstrings? Heartstrings? Maybe that's right. I don't know. The radio show from book 1. That is where Jackson works. We actually saw him in... Guys, why am I blanking so hard on this title? First Time Caller. We saw him briefly in First Time Caller. He was basically like thrown on to do a little bit of like improv on the radio at one point when like Aiden was like, here, like take the mic. I don't remember the exact details, you guys. But we learned he's not very good at like improv and like speaking on the fly because in First Time Caller, he kind of was like rambling and he ended up talking about like all sorts of random fun facts about the weather. So we know he's very smart and knowledgeable about the weather, but we know also he's not very good at improv, apparently. And then we have Delilah, who, she doesn't work in radio, she works in TV for the news. So she does, I don't know, like the 5 o'clock news or something, 4 o'clock news, covering the weather. And we also learn that her boss, Keith, is an asshole. And she loves reporting the weather. It is her entire thing. All she wants to do is report the weather. However, Keith has been making her do a lot of these segments and features that she doesn't really want to do and making her do them in a way that is kind of embarrassing. Obviously, she embraces it. She does her job. But for example, when we meet Delilah, she's reporting about turtles hatching, and she's wearing like a turtle costume. And then she said at one point she had to report something about toilets. I don't even know. But then she was like sat on a toilet. So little things like that she's trying to embrace in stride, but it's kind of clear that Keith is putting her in these situations to purposely embarrass her. Now, Jackson doesn't really like Delilah at all. He thinks that she's really unprofessional. She's doing these like gaggy bits and not reporting the weather, reporting in a turtle suit or what have you. And he's just not really a big fan of Delilah. And one thing we also learn about Delilah is she's very clumsy and on multiple occasions have, destroyed Jackson's shirts by spilling various liquids upon them. And she also can't park to save her life. And Jackson is determined to park in the same spot every day, regardless of how badly Delilah parks. So he's been leaving passive-aggressive notes on Delilah's car, informing her of her terrible parking jobs. So the distaste that they have for one another is founded upon not really knowing one another. And I'm sure we'll come to a point, some like reconciliation, where Jackson will come to understand like why Delilah is the way that she is and how, Keith is putting her in these positions. And it's not really what she wants to do, but she needs her job, So I'm sure we'll have that moment. But in the meantime, the disagreements feel a little childish and a little silly. I'm not feeling any which way in particular about these characters. I'm excited to get to know them more, but also I'm 5 chapters in, but no one is really like jumping off the page for me immediately, at least. Oh, one last thing about Delilah as well. Not only is Keith putting her in these like horrible positions, I don't want to say like horrible, like obviously they're not ideal, but they're not like actively hurting her or anything like that. I feel like it's more like ruining her reputation. So that's still really bad. However, he also is like undermining her and like embarrassing her around colleagues as well. So Keith and the Heartstrings radio person, Maggie, I want to say her name is Maggie, and if it's not, we're going to just call her Maggie. They want to do a joint segment with Jackson and Delilah, bringing them together to report this massive snowstorm that is expected to sweep across the city of Baltimore, and thus they are sending them away together to this hotel, to a town not far from Baltimore in order to report this weather and kind of like be in the thick of it, be in the thick of the snow. And when it came to actually like reporting and like tracking this, Delilah had like given Keith some sort of models. I don't know much about the weather, but she apparently gave them models being like, yeah, here's my predictions, what have you. And Keith was like, they're trash. Turns out that Keith had submitted these things to their superiors, which I'm pretty sure is the reason that like they're even like reporting the snowstorm and like know that it's happening and know where and when it's happening, and that this whole like situation got greenlit in the first place was because of Delilah's models. That Keith basically was like, these are trash, like we cannot use them. And when Delilah tries to mention that, hey, like you literally said that these were trash and you said that they were no good, Keith just like ignores her completely. And it's just, oh, it's so frustrating to see. So, like, I know that they'll get over one another because obviously this is, like, a romance novel. So, of course, they're going to fall for each other. But I'm really excited to see how that develops, especially with this, like, forced proximity. They're going to go get snowed in, I'm sure. And I'm sure at some point the electricity will go out and maybe the water will go out. So, it's very, like, it's a snowstorm. I'm sure something will happen to progress forward the plot and the romance. So I'm really, really keen to see how that goes. So positive updates here. Iffy updates, I would say, about Operation Bounce House. We are on page 66, chapter 8. And so far, it's mostly been just recapping what's on the blurb. Establishing the world, establishing these characters, getting to know them, and getting to know the whole situation, Again, recapping the blurb of what we were told. We open with Ollie drunk / hungover from the night before, not really remembering what's going on, which is not really lending itself well to getting to know this character. Well, I guess in a way, yes, but like getting to know the world, because he's kind of just like not all there this morning. And he is sent out by this little like AI sentient robot to collect a different sentient AI robot or what have you. I don't think actually the other robot was sentient, but this robot. He was sent out to collect the robot because they lost service or something or was taken down. Something happened. I was reading this last night when I was really, really tired, which probably is not helping with this confusing world. But he's sent out to grab this robot, but then he's attacked by a mech. His sister has been talking about this like Operation Bounce House. God, this book is so complex to explain, I feel like. So much has happened in these like 60 pages. So his sister has access to the EarthNet, and she's been hearing this like rumor about Operation Bounce House, where Apex is allowing people to rent these mechs to attack his planet as like a game show. And it was confirmed in that moment when Ollie was attacked by this mech that Operation Bounce House is in fact greenlit, is in fact a real thing, and now, you know, their planet is in danger, their home is in danger, and everyone that they love and know is in danger. Now, the settlers on New Sonara, I think it's like New Sonara, were told that they were going to settle and then they were going to be left alone by Earth, by the government. There's not really like this overarching like government body on New Sonora, on their planet. They are just farmers. That's what they do. They're farmers, and they were told that they would be left alone once these ships came and dropped off their families. There's also like little things that have to do with different generations being killed off. So I think Ollie's grandparents are alive, but then his mom's generation died because something that hasn't really been explained to us fully. So there's a gap in generations as well. I feel like that's notable. Maybe it's not. I don't know. There's so many things that are happening and I'm not fully grasping it. I'm sure when I get further into the story, like things will start to piece themselves together and I'll understand more. But in the meantime, I don't know. But yeah, these mechs have been sent to the planet to basically like evict these settlers who the company Apex is framing them as terrorists. So the whole premise of this is that, right, people are buying these mechs to like rent out to attack these people that, you know, Apex has been like, yeah, these are terrorists on this planet and we're evicting them and you can participate for a hefty fee because, you know, capitalism. That aspect of the story is very interesting, and that's, I think, what captivated me in the first place, is the fact that the people attacking the planet don't know that these are innocent people and that they are being told by their government body, by Apex, that they are terrorists. So they're framing the narrative, which I think will be a very interesting thing to explore more into, and how I'm sure the settlers as well will try to fight back to kind of prove their innocence to these people, which is hard with their limited tech and resources as well. As for the characters, Ollie, I don't know, the only notable thing about him right now is the fact that he's part of a band called the Rhythm Mafia, which, I don't know, he plays the drums, which I like because I play the drums, and that is the only notable thing I have to share about Ollie. None of these characters are really giving me much, but I think it still took me a while to warm up to the characters in Dungeon Crawler Carl, so I'm hoping that throughout this book that I will slowly warm up to them. I don't know if this is part of a series or a standalone. I don't think I'm going to find out, though. I think I'm just going to read it and enjoy it for what it is and what have you. I don't know, like, how high the stakes are considered in this book. I don't know if we're going to be, like, killing off characters left and right, or we're going to have them, or most of them, survive by the end. I don't know, but I'm really excited to see. So those are my updates, and I will probably come back with you when I am a little further into both of these to, you know, give more of my thoughts. But those are just very, like, brief initial reactions. Like I said, I'm only, like 60-ish pages into both, but, you know, I just wanted to prove that, one, I had started reading in this reading vlog, which sometimes takes a while. You'd be surprised. And two, those are, yeah, just, like, some quick initial thoughts, establishing the world, establishing these characters, and I'm just really excited to see more, and I really, really hope that I love them both.
This camera's cool, man. What up, bro? Welcome to the show, the Tony Show, brought to you live.
Today is March 7th, aka my birthday. I actually just got back from morning gymnastics practice. It's our last practice before the competition, which is tomorrow, which is actually insanity. And my friends got me balloons and they got me a little cake. I did buy my candles because I always film my This Is Me video, which I did do. And if you don't know, it's like a little like video diary reflecting on like the past year. But yeah, they bought me a cutie little cake. I've already kind of gotten into the frosting, if we're being honest. But I don't have any reading updates for you all yet. But I am planning on kind of vegging out and taking it chill for the rest of the day. Practice was so rough. I'm sure you saw some of the clips because, sorry, this vlog is just me doing gymnastics and other things. Yeah, it was a rough practice and everything hurts and I'm ready to just like veg out and like chill before the competition tomorrow, which I'm so excited. I don't know if I mentioned this, but my parents don't know that they're going to watch me compete tomorrow. I'm like, yeah, we just have this like event tomorrow we have to go to at like 3, so, you know, it'll be fine. I'm so excited to surprise them. I also had my shop update today, which I need to not ever put my shop launch on my birthday ever again because I was too stressed. I literally had to like run out of gymnastics. I'm like, sorry guys, I gotta go finish prepping for something, and got ready as quickly as I could. And then I was like glued to my phone for a bit, like posting on all of my socials and like sending out my email update and all the things that go into running a shop update. So that is done and over and out into the world. The new maps are out. So exciting. And yeah, I am just having such a wonderful day. Like, I had no idea that they were gonna like surprise me with cake and balloons, and it made my day. And yeah, just it's been so fun so far, and I'm ready to just chill out, relax. Also, it's the first Formula One race of the new season, so an extra bonus treat as well, a little extra bonus birthday gift for me. So yeah, it's just been a great day, and I don't have a reading update for you yet, but I will come back when I do. But the next clips you will see are gonna be from competition, so hopefully they're good clips. Hopefully you enjoy, and this will be the last bit of gymnastics that I will subject you all to. Wow, you guys, it has been over a week, if not a week, since I have last spoken to you, mostly because of work. And gosh, what was the last bit of B-roll you saw? My gymnastics competition. Hello. It was incredible, you guys, to finally return after 10 years, you guys. That's insane. Since I've competed. And it was a phenomenal experience. I showed as many clips as I possibly could for you guys. And I promise there's no more gymnastics in this vlog because I know all you've seen is so much gymnastics. But I just really, really wanted to share it with you guys and also be able to like look back for myself about how my week leading up to my birthday and my competition was. And both were fabulous. I did really well. Like, I'm really proud of how I did. My first event was my high score of all the meet, which is insane. So that was bars. I got a 975, which is literally insane. Like, I still am like, how? Literally how? And again, I wasn't really that nervous because things were so chaotic leading up to the competition. I was almost late. I got lost in the convention center. It was a whole thing. So by the time we like got out there and like got ready to compete, I wasn't really nervous because I was like cheering for all my friends. And then like I went up to like salute and start competing and I was like, oh, guys, I'm nervous. Beam was beam. I fell. Honestly, I'm not surprised. I hate cartwheels with a passion, but I almost got up on the wrong side of the beam. I was like, whoops, my bad. Still super fun. It was so like healing to be able to fall off the beam and not like cry or be like upset about it to the point where I'm like scared of what my coach is gonna say or like see my coach like roll her eyes and walk away in a video. So getting to literally like laugh, being like, yeah, I thought I would fall, but that's okay. And then, you know, laugh and smile when I got back up on the beam. Like, I don't know. It was so healing, you guys. And then obviously I had so much fun on floor. Floor is one of my favorite events. I love dancing and it was so fun to be able to dance to a Wind Waker song, which was my dream literally since I was a child. I wanted it to be my first ever competition song and it just never really happened until now. And oh, it was amazing. Amazing experience. I will not blather on about gymnastics anymore. I will spare you any details about any further anythings in this video at least. Okay, future vlogs, yeah, you're in for this gymnastics journey, you guys. I have returned from a work trip as well, which I mentioned, and it's been insane, you guys. It is in March, which means it's spring break. I work out of Orlando, which means it's spring break in Orlando. So it's been really, really hectic, but I had so much reading I was able to get done, starting with volume 13 of Frieren. And unsurprisingly, you guys, the main thing I have to say about this book is that I loved it. So are we shocked? Are we surprised that that is my overall review? Obviously 5 stars. Something funny though was that I could not for the life of me remember where we left off in volume 12. Like, I remember the main thing that happened in volume 12. The main event where Frieren was out and who she was with, but I could not remember any of the events that had transpired with said people or like what they were doing. So I had to go back and read like the summary of the last like couple chapters of volume 12, which, thinking about it now, I could have just grabbed it off my bookshelf, come to think of it, but it's fine, you know, that's what Google is for. I didn't want to get out of bed, so I didn't get out of bed. Yeah, super fun time. I love these characters. I love these series, and it was so much fun to return to Frieren because I hadn't in like over a year. I think it's been over a year and a half, because I actually haven't watched any of season 2 either. So I haven't consumed any Frieren in like over a year, which is criminal, quite frankly. So it's so nice to return to volume 13. And yeah, it was just such a treat for myself. Speaking of treats for myself, another treat was finishing And Now Back to You by B.K. Morrison. You guys, I love B.K. Morrison's romance. Like, she just knows how to write a good romance that really makes you like giggle, kick your feet, and have a fun time. I fell in love with Jackson and Delilah, you guys. They are such polar opposites. Delilah brings the chaos, you guys. She is the embodiment of chaos and disorganization and just kind of like flying by the seat of her pants, like being able to like improv on the spot, you know? And Jackson is very much the opposite. He likes his lists. He likes his things in order, right? Even small things that showed the contrast between the two of them were when they arrived at the hotel, Delilah's bag overflowing, literally just shirts popping out of it the second she opened it. It was a mess. And then Jackson, obviously very neat and tidy and orderly. He removed all his articles of clothing, put them into the drawers, probably sorted them by days of the week. I don't even know. But I loved their dynamic. And just, oh, you guys, it's so cute. I think something else that made me fall in love with them like even more was they both had insecurities about their personality, right? Delilah felt insecure about being this chaotic individual and not being as orderly. And Jackson was like, am I too organized? Am I too boring? Like, I don't know. This is just like how I am, how I feel like I have to be. And he has a lot of anxiety about that too because he has custody over his 2 younger sisters. And so he's always worried that he's not giving them the life that they deserve and like the fun that they deserve. And his deadbeat mom as well is not helping the situation at all. So seeing them both fall in love with those pieces of one another and them feeling secure in being themselves, like fully themselves around each other. You guys. Oh my gosh. As I thought, the segments where they got snowed into their hotel. Oh, that's the other thing with like the whole close proximity moments as well. And Keith being a saboteur, okay? He he did. He sabotaged Delilah's room in this hotel and was trying to put her up in some like sketchy, really sketchy, probably haunted, possibly already, occupied hotel room. And Jackson was like, we're not doing this. We're both adults, okay? We can, share the one bed in my hotel room and be fine. You guys. Sorry. Calm myself. I love how BK Borson can write a romance that is, again, fun, cute. You will literally be giggling, kicking your feet at some of the moments, but it still has that sense of realness that both of these characters are going through things. Delilah has something going on in her family that is really stressful and something that has been weighing on her mind, and it's very, very difficult for her to go through. So her being able to lean on Jackson in those moments, and same with Jackson, and again, his anxiety and stress about not giving his sisters what they deserve and the life that they deserve, and then again, being able to rely on one another and become vulnerable with one another. I love this series that BK Borson has been writing through. I don't know what exactly this like series is called, but you bet your bottom dollar, you guys, that I will be picking up the 3rd one. Oh gosh, I'm having a blast. And then a notable moment, only notable because it's relevant. Well, actually it was like a big moment in the book, but also I don't want to spoil anything actually. Let's just say there was a moment in this book where conversations were overheard because they were mic'd up and the mic was on. Let's put it that way, okay? Now, this is only funny. It's not funny at all in the book, okay? It's quite serious, and the things that ensue after that are terrible, but it was funny because I, like an idiot, so I'm a flight attendant, right? Okay. And I was the lead flight attendant on my last trip. So I'm the one who is on the PA making the little announcements. Hello, my name is so-and-so, and this is so-and-so and so-and-so, and this is blah, 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 doing the safety demonstration, all the things, right? So on our intercoms, on this plane that I was working on, there's a button, and it says PTT, push to talk. So when you push the button, audio transmits through the speakers so everyone can hear you. So as I'm up here doing my little announcements, I'm so focused on making sure everyone else in the aisle is ready. They have all their equipment. They're ready to do my little presentation. And I forgot to check myself of whether or not I was ready. So as I'm reading out the names, hello, my name is Cassandra, and my little customer service voice too. And I'm working with so-and-so in the front and so-and-so in the back and da-da-da. The next bit of information that I share is the flight time and the location in which we are flying to. Now, I don't know if you know this, but like when you're a flight attendant, you work a lot of trips. You go a lot of places, and you go a lot of places in one day. I can't even remember now where we were going, but I do remember leaning over to my number 2 and being like, I don't know where we're going. What's the flight time, right? Away from the mic, and also not pressing the PTT button. Okay, so just like a little aside, like, guys, I don't know where we're going. She tells me, I'm like, cool. And then I return to the mic, and the flight time is blah, 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 and we are going to blah, 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 right? So we do that. We finish the safety demonstration. I do my little walkthrough. I go to the back of the cabin, and my number 3 goes, did you know your mic was on when you said that? I was like, what? He's like, yeah, like, everyone heard you, and they all laughed. And I was like, That's cool. That's embarrassing. That's so fun for me. My face was so red, you guys, but I'm like, what's done is done. What am I gonna do? Like, at least everyone got a good chuckle out of it. He said it was especially funny because my customer service voice, you guys, like, it is so many octaves above my normal voice. Like, even the voice that I talk to, like, the camera, is still, like, a little bit higher than, like, my typical, like, day-to-day voice. Or even, like, just speaking, like, muttering to someone on the side, right? Obviously, it's much lower. So going, like, I'm like, guys, I don't know where we're going, to, like, okay, you guys. I'm like, that's embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. But I just thought it was funny. I was like, how topical that our characters in the book also have a moment like that, but so much worse than mine, so it's fine. Oh, speaking of other things, flight attending, oh my gosh, you guys. I was tasked. There I was, okay, again, F1, I'm in the front of the cabin, people are boarding, hello, welcome on, what have you. And this grown-ass man is like, ma'am? And I'm like, yes, sir. He was like, there's a bug. And I look at him, and I look at the people that are also, like, freaking out about this bug, and I look at it. Guys, it was a wasp. And I look at them and I say, what makes you think I am any braver than any of you? I had a little notebook in my hand and I was like shaking as I approached it and I slammed it way harder than I probably needed to. I was so scared, you guys, but people clapped, and not in like a Reddit, like everyone clapped, but people clapped. And I told them, I said, if you write a review, you better mention that I'm a wasp slayer. I don't get paid enough to exterminate you guys. It's also relevant to point that I'm like terrified of bugs, okay? Nowhere in my contract does it say that I need to also exterminate bugs. Okay, no. But I killed it. I saved the people, you guys. I saved them. Anyways, let me talk about the other book as well, which is Operation Bounce House. I made it further in. I am on chapter 31, page 261. And I only have like 150 pages or so to go. And guys, I'm so bored. I'm so bored. I'm actually shocked at how boring this book is, considering how intriguing the concept of this book is. We have mechs attacking a planet of innocent people, piloted by people back on Earth who don't know that they are attacking innocent people, and the fact that Apex is able to manipulate the narrative so much and, like, basically, like, modify certain clips, hide certain people from, you know, the mech's feeds. Like, they're manipulating so much of this narrative, and obviously the messaging in this book is a little on the nose in terms of, you know, government overreach, government control, and again, like, framing the narrative. You know how people always say, like, history is written by the winners? That's kind of, again, the messages in this book they're not subtle at all about what they're trying to convey and what they are wanting you to think about. Again, very interesting concepts, very relevant things that have been relevant throughout history of all government bodies. And yet, Matt Dinneman is doing such a poor job at making this interesting. How's the story of the mechs attacking and the settlers defending themselves and, like, trying to save themselves from these mechs, save themselves from this narrative, is so boring. And could it be a me problem? Potentially. I have aphantasia, so I can't picture things, like, detailed in my mind, right? So I like a book that, yes, has descriptions of things, but they're not too overly descriptive and they're not too info dumpy, right? Like, there's action sequences, there's dialogue, like, it has to be a good balance. And this book has so many descriptions. All this book is just describing things and describing things, and not even in a good way. It just, like, explaining. Sorry, I'm just, like, so heated about not liking this book, you guys. So we have these mechs, and there's a bunch of different type of mechs. And Matt Dinneman is going to explain to you all these different types of mechs and what they look like. And then he's going to explain to you all the different weapons and what these weapons do and how they fire and what they destroy. And then he's going to explain to you what these characters are going to do. Because this little AI robot named Roger, he's the one guiding these children into how to defend their planet and what to build and what to do. So he's going to explain to you what these mechs are going to do. And he's going to explain the plan. And then these children are going to go and do said plan. And then something's going to go wrong. And then Roger's going to tell them exactly what they need to do. And then they're going to do exactly what Roger told them to do. So we're being told everything that's happening constantly. And because these settlers and these children don't know what's going on, have never fought no war, they're literally farmers who are, you know, defending their homeland, to the best of their ability. They don't know things, right? So this little robot is the one telling them all this information. So in turn, who are they telling all this information to? Us, right? So we don't get to see these characters discover anything, because the discovery that these characters experience they're just told. They're literally just told by Roger everything that is happening. Like, honestly, if you wanted this book to be more interesting, it should have been written from Roger's perspective, because we're basically, like, that's the characters. The characters we see basically through the lens of Ollie, and yet we don't get to know any of these characters because, oh my, sorry. All right, I'm gonna take it down a notch. But Ollie as a character is so boring because all of these characters are boring because none of them are making decisions that they themselves are making, because Roger is just telling them what to do and then they are doing it. Okay, you're going to go to here and you're going to do XYZ. And then they go to there and they do XYZ. How is that interesting in the slightest? And the answer is it's not. And oh my gosh, you guys, I understand the gamer aspect of this book, right? So they can like talk to the people controlling the mechs, and they are throwing out horrible phrases, not just like cringy phrases, but like insulting everyone to the moon and back, essentially, right? And I get that that's like gamer culture, I guess. I don't know. I've heard, gamer lobbies are toxic as can be, depending on like what game you play. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. That makes sense, but it's not really fun to read about. It's a little cringy. Actually, it's like a lot of bit cringy. It just, none of this book has been pleasant to read. Why have I continued to read it? Because this was the only book I had left on my trip. So I was like, well, I might as well try to get further into it. So that's what I did. And that's not to say that there has been no interesting moments at all in this book. There have been a few. And I'm curious to see like where these pieces lead to, but I don't know if we're going to get answers. And I don't know if the answers I'm going to get are going to be satisfying either. It's just not fun to read about characters that are flat. And I'm shocked, honestly, because one of the main reasons I liked Dungeon Crawler Carl so much, and why a lot of people do like Dungeon Crawler Carl so much, is the characters. They're so much fun to read about. And even if every book follows kind of the same formula, especially the earlier books, they kind of follow the same formula of Carl does this, Carl kills some monsters, Carl levels up, Carl does this, Carl levels up, right? So it's kind of the same formula in different locations for the early books, but it was still interesting to read about. And then we got little tidbits of information about the world outside of just like the dungeon and who was controlling it and what have you. So to go from that with like Carl and Donna and Samantha and Katya to Ollie and his group of people whose names, there's a Sam, his best friend's a Sam. Everyone else, so like unbelievably unnotable. They're so flat, you guys. I'm so mad about not liking this book because I really, really wanted to love it. But who knows, in the last 150 pages or so, maybe things will turn around. Maybe more things will be explained, but not just explaining to us straight out. I don't know. Again, I feel like this book could have been so much more interesting from Roger's perspective because he's doing and accessing a lot of things that we're told about, but we don't get to actively see him do, if that makes sense. So, I don't know, maybe it's just framed from the wrong set of characters, but it's looking bleak, you guys. I am not having a fun time, but I am determined to finish this vlog, so I am going to finish this book today, but because I want to have some B-roll for you guys that is not me doing some flips and flops, I thought that we could do a little bit of journaling together, and I want to do some journaling on a more positive note than, Operation Bounce House. So we're going to journal about my first 5-star read of the year, which was read in last vlog, which was Daisy Jones and the Six. You guys, hello, it is later. We did some journaling. I hope you enjoyed that. You know what I didn't enjoy? This book. I don't have much else to add from my last update. I feel like I succinctly laid out every bit of why I didn't like this book, okay? And those things did not change. Yes, we got some more interesting moments near the end that kind of put the pieces together, and also kind of made me feel like we should have been getting Roger's perspective in this novel the entire time. But I'm not going to hark too much on this book. I don't like to be like super duper negative, but I'm going to tell you how I feel. And my feelings towards this book, negative, bad. You know what really got me? It has to do with drumming, okay? There is, oh my gosh, minor spoilers ahead, I guess, but there is a scene in the finale when Ollie actually has control of one of the mechs. Cool. However, at the same time, he is controlling this mech and carrying out this whole mission. He is playing the drums at the same time, right? So he is playing the drum while also remote controlling this mech. And Ollie is not a genius. He is not a prodigy. He even claims that he is not a very good drum player. So you want me to believe that he is using all 4 of his limbs at different points to play their songs, while simultaneously controlling a mech that he has never controlled before, while simultaneously communicating with Roger, who is telling him all these things that he doesn't know how to do. What? I would maybe believe this if Ollie was like, I don't know, Chad Smith, the drummer of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, or one of the drummers in Sleep Token, or Josh Dunn in 21 Pilots, these like insanely talented drummers who have been doing it for decades. But Matt Dinovan wants you to believe that Ollie, I don't know, 15, 16, 17, 20, I don't know how old he is. I know he's actually older than a teenager. Actually, yeah, no, he's in his 20s. You want me to believe that this 20-ish year old kid is capable of playing the drum? Are you out of your mind? And you know what? I'm a beginner drummer, okay? I've been drumming for about 3 months, and I don't like practice every day. I go to lessons once a week, and then I like fiddle around when I have time on my home drum kit. I don't think I can believe it. Like, I don't know, like even the most talented of people, how many times can you split your brain, right? Because you're using all 4 of your limbs while simultaneously controlling a mech that you've never controlled in your life, and you're also self-proclaimed not a very good drummer and also not very smart. I don't know why that was a thing to like push me over the edge and like piss me off the most about this book. But please tell me if you are a drummer and I am wrong. Please let me know, because I'm actually like so heated about this. But maybe, I don't know, maybe when you have like 3-5 years of experience, you just unlock the ability to keep a steady beat consistently and play through various songs while simultaneously like communicating with a robot who's telling you what to do while simultaneously controlling a mech and like killing people. I don't know, like maybe that is possible. Again, I am all for books not sticking to, you know, logic and what have you, and I get it's a sci-fi. But that pushed me off the edge, you guys. Pushed me off the edge. But I'm here to wrap up this vlog with this 2-star book. Yes, I did end up giving it a 2 stars, which I really don't like rating books low. I obviously want to be honest with you guys, but please, if you got a different experience out of this book, please let me know if you enjoyed it. Like, I'm really curious to see, maybe you enjoyed elements that I didn't like, or maybe I just didn't get it. But again, the message it was trying to convey was so on the nose, and it was not subtle at all. I don't know, it was boring, you guys. It was so boring. I haven't read a book this boring in so long, because even like objectively bad books, I've enjoyed more than this. It could have bad writing, a cheesy plot, and I think I would still enjoy it more than this. I wanted it to be good. I don't know. we're moving on. My two mangas that I ended up reading, volume 13 of Frieren and Gachiakuta volume 1. I didn't end up getting to volume 14. Hopefully I'll do that soon. I also, like, maybe I'll do that without vlogging it because I don't think I'm going to have much to add outside of what I said for volume 13, which is just, I loved it, you guys, and I didn't remember where we were, but I loved it, which is such an exciting update for you guys. So maybe I'll just read that on my own time. And then obviously Gachiakuta, a really fun time. Please let me know if I convinced you in this vlog to pick up this manga or pick up and watch this anime. It's so good, you guys, and I need more people to talk about it with. And then the favorite book, the best book of the vlog, 4.75 to And Now Back to You. I'm glad we had at least one high rated book. Obviously, like, the manga. I think I've mentioned this before, but I'm not super picky when it comes to, like, rating mangas, so, like, both of those I gave 5 stars. But that is the reading vlog for my birthday. I am now 24 years old, and I feel exactly the same. Obviously, like, when it comes to your birthday, like, every day you're a day older. You don't just, like, magically turn, like, a year older on your birthday. You know, so obviously, like, I've changed and, like, grown a lot in the past year. And yeah, I'm just really excited to see what this coming year holds. So although one of the books was a disappointment, we still had 3 that I greatly enjoyed in this vlog. And I hope that, speaking of enjoying things, that you enjoyed this vlog. And thank you so, so much for watching. And I hope to see you in my next one. Toodles!